Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It is Sunday, which means it is a beautiful day for writing, and that is what we will be doing today. My name is Ilse. I am a magic wielding dragon companion and creator of worlds, and I'm here to help you on your author journey. Today I do that with several writing sprints with writing prompts to help you write your short stories or to help spark the creativity for you in your current story, in your current long form story. And we will talk about, I don't know, things that come up during writing and questions you might have in the about writing and about uh, basically anything you can think of relating to writing and your author life. So to begin, I wanted to take a quick look at my own outline. What I didn't expect was that things have, let's say, evolved, and where I initially wasn't quite sure how the first book, the original first book I had written, would be, how shall I say that? How I would be able to incorporate that with what I am now writing and how things would work together. I have found a solution this week, and it kind of surprised me, and at the same time, it's a good solution. I can't tell you about it because that will give away part of the story, and that would no, not be good. I mean, that would spoil a lot of things, and I don't want to spoil you guys about storyline and especially things that play way later on in the series. I mean, what I have in mind for the solution is something that will be. It will start in the first book. Yeah, currently I have it in my outline in the first half of the first book, or at least what I expect will be the first book. Let me put it that way. So with that, it will work through the whole series, and I'm not quite sure yet how it will work through the whole series, but I do have things in mind. And the fun part is that where the last few months since I started writing Naja and Ajad's background story, and when I decided to make their story the beginning of the series, where I didn't expect Ayla, one of the original main characters of the story I had been writing so far, until I started to write Naja and Ajad's story. I wasn't quite sure if Ayla would be in the beginning of the story, in the beginning of the series, and I was wondering how I would make it logical for her to appear later on in the series, while she is a vital part of the whole series and of the whole story and of everything coming together later on. And because she is a vital part, it would be, in my opinion, it would be strange to not have her in the beginning of the series. And with what I came up now, what I discovered, is that the thing I discovered plays way deeper into the story than I originally expected, and than what I thought it would do. But that's okay. That's the beauty of it. In the end, it will help bring things together, and It will help in the final battle, so to speak. Well, no, not so to speak. It will help in the final battle. That is one thing I can tell you guys. There will be a final battle, at least for this series in the Tergaenae world, because I expect there will be a lot more once I've written this series. But that's for a whole other time. Let me first just write this series because I mean that's quite important, right? I need to finish it. I need to write it. There's a lot that I need to do in this series. Um, so yeah, it brings things together at the end of this series, or at least from what I now gather will be the end of this series. Perhaps a series of 5 books, perhaps more, perhaps less. It all depends on how everything evolves. I really haven't got a clue. Um, it's, uh, it's definitely not the easiest thing to decide right now, which is also why I decided to not decide that right now. I first am going to finish the whole outline for the whole series, and once I've done that, then I will just write the whole series. And knowing myself, I will need to adjust things going along the way, but that's my writing process. That is how I work. And once I've written the whole series, then I will have a much better understanding of how things work, and I will have a much clearer view on where to put divisions in the series, and thus where the new book starts. Um, so at the moment, mm, I mean, I really haven't got a clue. It all started with an idea for one book, and then it became a trilogy, and then it became a quintet, and now there's also the beginning of the story with Naja and Najat, which might mean a 6th book, but I mean, it might also mean that I'm just going to incorporate several things and still have 5 books. I don't know. It might mean I have 10 books in the end. I haven't got a clue. Um, but no matter how it turns out, um, for me the most important thing is to first write the whole series, and then divide things up. And I do already know, I have already discovered several things that will play on later on in the story. Um, and I have, with writing this outline, I've also discovered that a chapter. I mean, it's more than 10,000 words, so that's a chapter. A chapter I wrote in November, out of the top of my mind, maybe even earlier. Um, my apologies. But a chapter that I wrote about Naja and Najat has some, and it's a chapter that plays way later on in the series, probably book 2, maybe book 3. Anyways, it plays later on in the series, but I refer to something that happened, and I had a clear idea of what happened, or I thought I had a clear idea of what happened. And as it turns out now, that is not what happened at all, and something completely different is happening in the beginning of the series, and this incident, which is important for Naja and Najat. So this is going to be quite interesting. Um, so yeah, it's a fun thing, writing and creating not only creating your own world, but creating your characters and creating your story. It's how can I say that? It's always a joy for me. It's always a joy to write it, and even though I might find myself stuck on a scene or a chapter or what I had earlier on the whole series. I mean, I didn't know how to answer a particular question for a particular character, and I knew that I needed to answer that question also for myself before I could have a clear idea of how the book was going to end, or how the series was going to end, and how certain characters were going to develop. And that wasn't an easy thing, but it didn't mean that I didn't like the book anymore. It didn't mean that I didn't like Tergaenae anymore. On the contrary, I still love Tergaenae, and I still love writing this book. And after 2 years, I worked uh, on this issue, on this personal issue, and I got out of it, and I have the answer. So now I have a very good, I have a much better idea of how to develop these characters and how to develop that part of the storyline and how it will end. So that's a good thing, and that's one of the things that I really like. I mean, you essentially, it was a writer's block, but it was not a writer's block. It was not a writer's block. It was something that I needed to solve personally as well. And in the end, my personal thing affected my writing. My personal issue affected my writing, but it's not that the story itself wasn't progressing, but I needed to fix that. So I did that, and I still kept the joy in writing. I mean, even though I didn't write any chapters in those 2 years, 1.5 years, I did write. I did work on my world building and other things that would help make my story better, make my world better, and in the end, it helped in creating other creatures also that will have a very important role in the whole story, like Riri, the flutter nymph. It's one of the creatures I discovered in these 2 years, and I don't know if I would have discovered Riri if I had um, if I had been able to keep on writing, if that particular question wasn't a question for me. I have no idea. So in a way, that writer's block, that personal issue, also helped me. How shall I say this? It helped me make a more immersive world with more fantasy creatures that are truly unique, and that play a very important role in Tergaenae and in this story, and that is what I like about it. And that is it's one of the things that I really like about writing and about having the freedom to create your own world and to create your own characters and to create your own story. I mean, you can make it in any way you want to make it, and that is one of the true joys I feel in writing. So I hope that you guys feel that as well. Um, so before we go to our first writing sprint, let me know in the comments or in the chat what you are currently working on, what your story is. Is it a fiction? Is it a non-fiction project, or is it perhaps a short story? What genre are you writing in? Let me know. I love to hear about stories from other authors. And if you have questions about writing, put them in the comments or put them in the chat, and I will try to answer them as best as I can. So, without further ado, let's go to our first writing sprint of today, and that will be 25 minutes per usual. And of course, like almost usual, I forgot my clock again. Forgot my timer, but that's fixed now. So I've got that one. So let me give you guys the first writing prompt of today. And the first writing prompt is fireplaces. Now, why fireplaces? Well, for starters, here in the Netherlands, it's winter, so those people who have a fireplace will often lit it because, or at least the last few weeks, because it was quite cold outside. And today is the first day, and I can almost see the snow melting today. Today is the first day in a week or so that the temperatures have gone up above freezing, so that's good. And yeah, that's good. But before that, a fireplace, it could come in very handy, and a fireplace brings another form of warmth, and that is also, or that is odd. I always find that um, it's a different way of comfort, and I always love that. But fireplaces can also bring superstitions with them, and that is my writing prompt for you guys today. Your character sees a fireplace, and even though it is lit, there's no smoke coming from the chimney. So what happens? And what does this mean for her? Is this a technical problem? Which, I mean, it can be. Let's be honest. In the real world here on Earth, if you have lit your fireplace and there's no smoke coming up from your chimney, then your chimney might be blocked. So you need to clear your chimney. I can advise you not to do that while your fireplace is lit. So it can be a simple thing as something is blocking your fireplace. One of the superstitions that's connected to that is that witches would be on top of your fireplace, on top of your chimney, blocking the smoke and blocking everything. And you have to get rid of the witches. So what does your character think about a fireplace which has been lit and which doesn't have smoke coming from the chimneys? Is there perhaps some magic at work that prevents smoke, and just the fireplace can be lit but there won't be any smoke? Or is it indeed that the fireplace is blocked by a witch or some other creature? Or is it something else completely different? Is she looking at the wrong chimney, perhaps? I mean, that can happen as well, right? So, fireplaces and chimneys. I'll leave you with that. Writing prompt for our first writing sprint of 25 minutes. And I think that in my outline, my characters, well, and I mean, it's an outline. And like I said before, if you've been to my previous live streams, then you know that my outline is mostly just keywords and key phrases, and perhaps a sentence or two as a summary as to what is happening in the chapter, but I don't include many details. So what I expect is in my outline that I'm currently working on, you won't see any mention of chimneys and fireplaces and such, unless it is something that is at most important, and it needs to be in the outline already to make sure that I include it, pardon me, that I include it in the story. And those are tiny details I might include in an outline, but in this case, with the chapters I'm working on right now, I don't expect that this writing prompt will be something I will use in the future when I'm writing these chapters. But I might. I have no idea. So I wish you all good luck on writing. I wish you a lot of fun, and may your characters reveal their intentions, or perhaps hide them. I mean, that can happen as well. And may your story flow. Have fun writing. Minutes to go. I pressed the wrong key combination. My apologies. I forgot that this key combination. You know what? It's we'll just run a new sprint later on. So it was we had 10 minutes. So there was this was a sprint of 15 minutes. Thank you all for joining. Those who were able to join. Yeah, that's what happens when you use a key combination in Scrivener, which you also made a key combination in your streaming software. I still need to fix that. I haven't been able to fix that yet, to find a handier key combination. Anyways, these last 15 minutes, I've been working on the outline. You may have seen me make moves like this, and I was seeing which characters or checking which characters were where, and if I had already mentioned certain characters, and I needed to see if certain chapters were alright to introduce certain characters that I originally had in mind for way later on. So yeah, this is this is going to be interesting. So like I said, did I say that? No, I didn't say that. My apologies. Right now, I have introduced two characters that play on later on that originally were way later in the books. Well, no, Isla, I have to say it correctly. Isla is, I mentioned her earlier this live stream. Isla is one of the main characters in the original first book, and I've brought her into the outline, and I think it was a good bridge that I made, and I made another bridge to another character who was way later originally in the original first book, and she is now already in the series. So these are things I'll have to think about as well, because I did not quite plan for her to be here already, but she is. So that's going to be interesting. But that is why you see making me these motions like, okay, I have that character and I have that character and I have those two characters. That's what I was doing with my hands, simply because I needed to check things. I think that I right now pretty much have all the characters that I originally had in the first book, and including also Naja and Najat and a few other characters already introduced in the first in this first part of the series. I'll have to see, but I think I haven't. Well, I have introduced one of the antagonists. I have multiple antagonists. I have one huge antagonist, but that will be revealed way later on. So that's going to be interesting. Or at least I hope that you guys, once you read it, that you like it and that you like the way that I have done it. But I have one major antagonist who is not yet into play, not in this outline. Well, I have to correct that. She's not in the outline, but she is at play. But I can't divulge into how she is at play. That's something that will reveal itself later on in the books. When you start to see all the clues, when you start to read the books perhaps for the second time, and then you think, okay, now I see what you did there. So yeah, she's not mentioned yet, or he is not mentioned yet. But yeah, this antagonist is at play already, and um, it's going to be for me. It's going to be a lot of work because I need to do a lot of foreshadowing, and I need to keep a very tight check on a lot of things that I write in my story. And it's fun to do, but it's a hell of a job. But that's okay. That's okay. I just need to keep on thinking about things, and um, that is why I am very happy with tools like Scrivener and like Excel, where I can keep all that information of my story, of my series, all connected and all neatly tied together in such a way that it works for me, and that I can still have a functioning overview of how my story works. Because after all, that is what is important. And yeah, this is going to be a challenge, but I like it nonetheless. So I think that at this moment I have most of the characters, most of the POV characters, point of view characters. I think I have them right now in the outline. I'll have to check, and I'll need to figure out if I need more. I don't know yet, but I think I pretty much have them all right now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I'll need to figure out how I make a good balance between all the point of view characters, because I use a point of view system where you see the point of view of one character in one chapter. That is to keep things organized, but also it is a limited point of view, limited third person point of view, and for me that works the best because it also gives you the possibility as an author to hide things from your characters, to hide things also from your readers, of course, but also from your characters. Because if you write something from the point of view from, for example, Isla is in Tradersport, which is in the north of Netoan, just south of the White Mountains, south of the White City, but it is in the north of Netoan. So Isla can't know what is going on in Devilsport, what is going on in Dragon City, simply because she's not there, so she can't know that. And later on, she will find out several things, which can be handy. Other things can be a surprise. Other things can be news or perhaps not so good news. So there's a lot going on when you write a third-person limited point of view. But that is the fun part, because you will need to figure out a way that your characters can get that information that they need, and you need to figure out how you can make good bridges to the other point of view chapters, to make the next chapter and the next point of view not appear out of the blue, like it's falling from the sky. Sure, I mean, it can literally happen, especially if we're talking about dragon companions. And I mean, they can fall from the sky, right? I mean, if a dragon just, I don't know, gets shot down, the dragon and the dragon companion will literally fall down from the sky. But in this case, we're talking about point of views, so that's not at stake here, luckily. Um, but those are the things you have to keep in mind when you write a third-person limited point of view. There are things your character simply cannot know because he or she hasn't been there. So it is information that they will discover later on, and that is it's a challenge, but it's also a good thing. It's also a fun thing to do. My apologies. So yeah, that's where I stand right now. I think like I said, I think I basically have the most important characters right now, all brought into the outline, all brought into the first part of the series, which I did not expect. Seeing the timeline, yeah, I did not quite expect them to all be in this first part, but they are here. And is that a good thing? I think right now it is a good thing. I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to see along the way, the more I write in the outline, and perhaps I will find that that they do not belong in the beginning of the series yet, but that they have to be moved further back. That can happen. I will have to see, and that's also one of the beautiful things about writing, about the art of a craft. Um, it's not that you only have one chance to write your story. But when you write, you start to write. In my case, I also have an outline, um, but there are more than enough authors, and I did that with background story as well, who write without an outline. I mean, I wrote pretty much 40,000 words of the background story of Naja and Jad without an outline of any kind. I hadn't thought about it. For me, it was a background story, nothing more. But there are authors who will write their books without an outline. There are authors who will write their books not in chronological order. I mean, they might write, I don't know, chapter 10 and then chapter 1 and then chapter 50 and then chapter 5. I don't know, and they will fix it later on. They will put it all in order and make it work. I admire those authors because it's not something I can do. Sure, I will have my moments that I write a certain scene or a certain part, certain chapter that plays way later in the series. But normally I will write chronologically because that is how I work. That is how my story flows for me while writing. And it's a fun thing, the craft of writing, the art of writing. It works different for everyone. An outline is different for everyone. Like I said in the beginning, my outline is key phrases, keywords, maybe a few sentences of a summary of what is supposed to happen in that chapter, and that's it. I don't include a lot of details. I hardly include any details, if at all. That is how I work. That is the freedom I give myself, because I know that if I don't give myself that freedom, that I will be too limited. And that is also one of the beautiful things about our art. Other people will write a very detailed outline and work with that and then write the story. while again other authors will write no outline at all, because that is how they write. And all that works for authors, and that is what is fun about it. We can all just work in our own way and still create such works of art that gets enjoyed by so many people. And that is a beautiful thing about our craft, and I really like it. So my outline so far has, I think, all the major characters that I need for now. For now, the antagonists are at play, but we don't get a point of view chapter for them yet. Um, we did, and with what I will write in the chapters that I have right now, you might not immediately see there's an antagonist, but they are in there from the beginning, I can assure you. And once you start to discover all the clues, and once you start to bring all the puzzle pieces together and form the picture, then you will say, damn, it's all there in the beginning already. So, or at least I hope that you guys manage to do that. I hope that I don't make it too complicated. I mean, it's complicated for me, but I hope that you guys find it fun and indeed find all the clues. Because yeah, that's important. So no point of view chapters yet for the antagonists. All my major characters are in the outline already. Even some that I didn't expect to be here right now, but they are. And now I can move on. I'm not that far yet that I will include, or that I can start to include what I've written for Naj and Ajad, the background story. That is something that I will really need to work on, because I wrote it with the idea that it would be simply a background story. And now it's not a background story anymore. But I have to find the moments where I can make those transitions to other point of views, to maybe other places in the world. So that's going to be a tough challenge, I think. For the other parts, I think it will be easier, because those were intentionally written as the first book. So that I already have those point of views chapters and the bridges, etc. I already have those. So with that part, which was originally the first book, it will be easier to incorporate it in the outline and in the series. I might adjust several things, but it will be easier. The background story, however, it will be a tough challenge, but it's certainly one that I'm up to. So yeah, it's the way I see it right now. This series is fun. It's challenging for me to write, but I hope it is fun for you guys later on to read and to discover all the clues and to see how things work and how the characters develop and how the story develops. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But first, we're gonna write some more. Because I mean, that's what we do, right? As authors, we keep on writing one way or another, and I will be continuing my outline for the moment. because I've got loads of work to do in the outline. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I have another writing prompt for you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Seems that I closed a few things I shouldn't have closed. Right. Let me think. Yeah, I've got one for you. Pink bananas. Earlier on, a few days ago, I was basically looking for something completely different, but for plants, for new plants in my house, and I happened to stumble upon pink bananas, pink banana plants, and as it turns out, it's not only decorative, but you can even eat the pink bananas. They are apparently kind of sweet, or pretty sweet, if my information is correct. And yeah, that's going to be interesting. And they say the description is that it is a decorative plant and that the bananas are decorative. They're really pink. And they are decorative, but they are also edible. So I might try that out later on this year. I will see about that. But yeah, that's fun. So pink bananas. What does your character think about it? And are they do they taste good for her or for him? Is it something magical? Is it something of imagination? Is it something she eats every day? Let me know. Let me know what you did with it. And I'm looking forward to seeing your short story with it, or how you incorporate it in your long form story. It's always fun to hear about things like that. So let's do another writing sprint of 25 minutes. Let's see if I can keep it at 25 minutes this time instead of 15. Um, and then we'll see how things go. Um, wait, my mouse didn't want to cooperate. So 25 minutes starting now, and the writing prompt is pink bananas. Have fun! my apologies again, guys. I did it again. We again had 10 minutes left. So let's take a break now. It's just I was so into the outline that I didn't realize that I hit the wrong key, the wrong key combination. My apologies again. Yes, my outline. I need to get my bearings for a moment. While I was writing the outline, I realized that I needed to include some character information as well, so I worked on that as well. That was information that I discovered in this last week. It is, how should I say this? It will be tough information for a few people, but in the end, the result will be good. But of course, that's not something they will find out early on in the series. That's not how it works. I mean, we put our characters through hell, and once they've been through that, then we figure out how much more hell we can put them through, and what new hell it will be. And in this case, this character information is something that for the character has played several years ago, or rather a decision has been made several years ago, and the decision has its effect now and later on in the series. So those are the things that I mean, I have to say it correctly. This decision is not something. The point of the decision making, I should say, is not something I will cover in the series. But I might do. Well, I might do a short flashback or something to see. How can I say that? To see how this can play out and how other characters respond to it. I mean, it's always a challenge, right? If you have a decision making point that is far back in the history of a character, and which is not at this moment in your story, but the decision itself has influence in your story. That is where I am right now with this character. And not only has it was her decision, yeah, I can say it was her decision, and her decision has influenced other characters, and it probably will influence the story as well, the rest of the story as well. Let me just say, there's a lot of intrigue going on, and a lot of things that are sort of playing behind the scenes in a way for certain characters, which of course isn't easy, especially when they find out later. Because these other characters are really not going to be happy with it at first when they find out. But in the end, they will reach a good conclusion. Let me put it that way. I mean, I can't tell you guys more about it because then I will pretty much spoil it all, and I don't want that. But yeah, this is it's interesting when you find out things like that. And I did not see that coming. I can tell you guys that. This is it's something I did not see coming for these characters. Something I did not see coming in this story. But I think it can be in a way fun, sorta, kinda. So I'll have to see how it pans out. I don't know yet. It's I think it is needed, but I don't know how it will how it will play out and how the characters will respond to it. I'll have to see about that. So yeah, that's sometimes you're just writing your outline and you think you know everything. You think you've discovered everything from all your characters, and you think, oh, I can write, and that's not a problem. And then you're surprised with something like this, where you think, okay, I did not see that one coming. Okay, so that's part of history. How does that play in my story right now? Oh damn, that plays in my story right now. That's a problem. And then you have to make the decision if you are going um, to jump back to history. Well, in this case, I won't. At least not literally. I don't do time jumps in my fantasy worlds, because there's way too many complications that will come with that, and I mean I can't wrap my head around that, so I'm not gonna do that. But in this case, I might do a flashback, or this character might just tell someone else about it. I'm not quite sure yet how I will really solve it, or how I will really bring it about, or bring it out in the open, I should say. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think I will find that out in the next part of of the outline, especially because this was not something I planned, or something I discovered early on. I mean, this is something I just discovered these last few days, so it's going to be fun to see what else I will discover. Um, but it does bring things together, so that's a good thing. It does bring parts of the parts of, or rather side storylines together with the main storyline, and I guess that eventually makes it better, or makes the story better, I should say. At least I hope so. No, I mean that's, you know, as an author, that is what you hope when new sidelines introduce themselves, and when you, or rather, when new characters introduce themselves, and when you discover new sidelines besides your main storyline, and you hope that it all makes your story better. Um, and if you find that it makes your story worse, you'll just cut it out, and then you have a new challenge, because then you have to fix that. So in this case, in this case, I just hope that it makes my storyline better, and it makes the whole series better. I do expect it, because I feel this particular sideline brings together a few things that will help in the future, and that will help in the end of the series. So in that way, I think it makes the series better, but I only know that when I have written the whole series. I mean, that is when I know if everything works as I right now hope it will work. I mean, we all have those challenges when we are writing our stories. Um, you have an idea in mind, or you discover an idea if you're a discovery writer. You discover your world, you discover your characters, and you start writing, and you have an outline or not, or whatever. Anyways, you start writing, and in the end, you hope that what you have written is what you either had in mind or what is better than what you had in mind, and that your readers agree with that. Um, and for the Tergaenae Chronicles, that is exactly what I'm hoping for. I have no idea. I'll have to see. But yeah, I'll just keep on writing this outline. Um, and the fun part is I have for the chapters I have already described in the outline. I already have quite the idea of how the chapters will be. I can really see things happening in front of me. That's I'm my mind also kind of works visually. That is why I use reference photos for places and for characters and such, because my mind works so visually, and seeing certain scenes already when I haven't even written the scene, the fact that I can see certain things, see certain scenes, see certain chapters already gives me at least a feeling that it will be a good chapter or a good scene or a good event happening in the story. Of course, I will have to wait and see if that is indeed the case, and if it will help with the storyline and with the character development, and if it will bring the story where I hope it can be. Um, but that's not something for this draft. This draft is the sort of sandbox version. I'm saying sort of because I have written already parts of this story. I have written that for, part of that first book. I've written it now thrice, I think. Yeah, the first was where it really all went to hell, and the second one was where I got stuck at some point with that important question for the series, the end of the series. I was quite far ahead in that first book. I think I had written 90% or so or no, of that book, but I'll probably need some heavy adjustments, or probably I'll need some heavy adjustment in that book, in that part. And I have now already written a great part, a great half part. I don't know, and a substantial part of Nash and Jad's background story. And I have that all coming together in this outline in the whole series. And that's, from what I see and feel at the moment, it will work. And I can really vividly see certain scenes and certain developments happening. And I hope that I can make the other parts as vivid as well, because of course that is what we all want. We don't want a boring story. But in my sandbox version, in my sandbox draft, as I call it, I'm not really concerned about that. I'll just write and get it all in, and once it's all in, including characters I might discover along the way, characters I don't have yet, but who might pop up. I've had that happening in the past, so I'm pretty sure that it will happen once I start to write along this storyline, along this outline. So I'll just have to see how things progress. But I feel that it will be for the best. And once this zero draft is done, then I can really start paying attention to the other things, to the story flow, to the characters, to the world building. All those developmental parts are done right, and I've no doubt that I will need to adjust a lot of things, and I have no doubt that in the end I might scratch certain chapters or characters or events or whatever. I mean, that simply happens when you write. But right now, at the moment, I'll just keep on writing my outline for my draft zero, my sandbox version, and go on from there. And for now, it's the outline, and later on, it will be writing the story. Once when I'm a bit tired of writing the outline, I'll just start writing the story from chapter one, and progress from there. I mean, I started writing the outline when I reached the point in Nash and Najat's background story, where Najat was blacked out. He lost his consciousness, and I thought, okay, this is the perfect moment to take a rest, and now to start writing the outline, because so much has already happened in those 40,000 words. So much has happened, and it's just the beginning of the series, and there is so much that I need to incorporate, that I thought, okay, this is the good point, the good moment to start my outline, and to see how I'm going to include everything I have written, and work on that, and see where I need to already make changes based on what I have already written. So yeah, that's going to be a fun challenge, and I'll see how far I can get with it. Okay, I'm going to oh wait, let me see. Am I gonna do it the same way earlier? Okay, we're gonna try another writing sprint of again 25 minutes. Let's see if we make it to the 25 minutes this time instead of 15 again. 25 minutes. Let me see if I can find you guys another writing prompt. I mean, writing prompts are always fun, but it's how shall I say that? It's not always easy, but it's fun. I have one here. You'll just have to just see if you can use it or not. It is one that I found in my Google feeds last year. I mean, it was, when I read it, it was hilarious. I mean, yeah, I can totally imagine the situation. This is an old story, or rather, this person tells about a time that she worked in a bakery, and she was asked to bake pumpkin pies, but her boss didn't tell her how many pumpkin pies. And this particular employee was very efficient, and she baked 400 pumpkin pie before her boss came in. And her boss was like, what the heck am I gonna do? Because I only have orders for 100 pies. What am I going to do with the other 300 plus pies? So her boss really wasn't happy with it, because I mean, she had loads of pies left, and all the employee did was follow her orders, because her exact orders were to not worry about how many, just keep cooking until the boss would come in at 5. Only the boss did underestimated um, the efficiency of her employee, and to go at 400 pies instead of the 100 that they needed. So that is your writing prompt for this writing sprint. I wish you a lot of fun with it. And let's see if with this writing sprint we can actually make the 25 minutes instead of me pressing the wrong key combination again at the 15-minute mark. I really hope that I won't do that this time. And my apologies again for doing it already twice. Um, so 25 minutes of writing again. I just gave you the writing prompt. I wish you all a lot of fun with it. And let me know how you are doing in the chat if you have any questions. It can be about what you are writing right now, or something you are struggling with on your author journey, or other things. Just let me know, and I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge and help you in any way I can. For now, I wish you a lot of fun writing, and see if you can use this writing prompt of way too many pies, pumpkin pies, in the bakery. Have fun! And that is the end of this writing sprint of 25 minutes. How did you guys do? I managed to write some summaries for us, or summaries for some more chapters, and I wrote a bit more about that organization Naja is a member of. Speaking of that organization, it is a secret underground organization, but like with all secrets, some things are known about this organization. Or at least criminals have a fear for people of this organization. Um, and rumors are abundant amongst criminals. Kings and queens know about this organization. Even though it is technically a secret, kings and queens do know about this organization, and they allow this organization to operate in their kingdom, on their grounds, because this organization manages to do things that, let's just say, officials from the kingdoms can't do in a similar fashion. So the organization is appreciated, and of course also people are against it, but that's with everything. There are ways to contact this organization. Of course, there are secret ways. These are secret ways, but if needed, people will find a way to contact the organization. Um, the organization does not only solve criminal cases, but it will also help people who are in need. And this can be a variety of things. And that's all I can tell you guys about that, because otherwise I will be telling too much. It is an organization of which the members are of a great variety. They even have, like with Naja, princes and princesses in their recruited people in their ranks. They have people who can operate basically everywhere in Tergaenae. The head of this organization has a cover profession that will help her move around Tergaenae pretty easily. So yeah, that's quite important. Later on in the series, you guys will discover who she is and what her profession is. She will appear early on in the series, but that will be not yet, or rather, at that moment, it will not be known that it is her. Her function will not be known, her official function. It is an organization I still need to find a name for. I still don't have it, and I've been thinking about it for a few weeks already. Their members use a variety of. Oh, one moment, I think that a package is being delivered. Yes, one moment. I will be with you guys in just a few. Nope. And I'm back again. Thank you guys for your patience. Yeah, I had a little package. I kind of expected it to be a bit, I don't know, bigger. They say you can also make bread with it, but that's not gonna be a high bread. I don't know. But I can make small cakes, and that is what I originally bought it for. Okay, these are, I have to admit, they are cute, but these are way too small to make a bread with it. But I can make little cakes with it, and that is why I originally bought it. I mean, this is not even enough to have a decent lunch sandwich, I think. But it's okay. You know what? I don't care. I bought it for the possibility to make cakes, and it's a set of 6, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to try that out at some point in the future. Perhaps next weekend. I'll see about that. But yeah, it's a bit smaller than I expected, or rather a bit lower than I expected. I mean, it's what, a couple of centimeters, 5 maybe. I had expected it to be a tad bit higher, but okay, that's fine. So that was my package that got delivered just yet. And yes, it's Sunday, and here in the Netherlands, certain companies do still deliver on Sundays, or they do deliver on Sundays. So that's a good thing. So yeah, I was talking about the organization Naja is a member of. So to recap, it's a secret organization, but like with all secrets, things are known about this organization. They also recruit princes and princesses as their members. They have people all over the world of Tergaenae, and with cover functions that make it ideal for them to travel around the world without getting into the picture, or at least getting into the picture with a completely different profession, so they won't be suspected. Their members are usually highly trained in various arts of fighting skills, most definitely martial arts skills, but also other fighting skills. So that is all. That is all about that organization. Like I said, it's an underground, if you will, organization. Well, partly literally underground, because their main their headquarters, that is what I was looking for. Their headquarters are literally underground. I haven't discovered yet where. They have quite an interesting way of getting assignments, of getting orders, and of delivering those. And they have quite an interesting way of communicating with, for example, kings and queens. So yeah, it's a wide organization, but it's not handy, or not easy, I should say, not easy to give it a name yet. So I'm still thinking about that. So if you guys have any suggestions about a name for such an organization, let me know in the chat or in the comments, and who knows, maybe I can use the name. So I don't know. It's this is one of those things of world building that I still need to discover. Names of organizations, in this case, this particular organization, I have no idea yet. In my outline, in the meantime, I find that I can still nicely make the bridges to other chapters, I'm still working with all the characters that I already have in the outline. There's no new chapters, or no new characters, I should say, included. But there might come a few new characters in the mix in the next chapters to come. But we'll see about that. In the meantime, I see it's well past 4 p.m. here in the Netherlands, and seeing the fact that I keep on making mistakes, and I feel that I'm getting more tired, I just decided that I'm going to call it a day for today. Because, I mean, after all, I have to work tomorrow again, and I'm really tired. So I better stop now, and also stop writing my outline right now, because I am noticing that I'm starting to make mistakes in my outline as well, and in my world building and things like that. So to make sure that I don't make really big mistakes, I'm gonna leave it at this for today. I do have one surprise for you guys. On February the 10th, I will do a special live stream, which means on February the 9th, let me check if that is indeed Friday. I thought it was. Yeah, the live stream of February the 9th will be cancelled, or rather moved to February the 10th. And why is that? On February the 10th, it is officially the start of the Lunar New Year, or the Chinese Lunar New Year, and the start of the Year of the Dragon. Now, I am not, I'm not of Chinese heritage in any way, but I am a fantasy author. And if I check, I checked I checked what my Chinese zodiac sign would be, and I would be full blown dragon. And if I looked at the characteristics of a dragon in Chinese zodiac signs, and let me just say that fits much better than the combination of Virgo and Lion zodiac signs that I have in Western cultures. I should be a lion, but I was born 3 weeks late, so I became a Virgo. And even the mix does not fit me. While the dragon, I mean, that fits quite well. So I decided to have a special live stream on February the 10th, all in favor of the Year of the Dragon and dragons in fantasy and in history. So if you have any questions, or you would like to know more about dragons in history or in fantasy, and differences between dragons and such, and how you can do things with dragons, let me know in the comments, or fill out one of the forms that is linked in the description, the forms for questions for live streams. And let me know what questions you have, and what questions you'd like to see answered in the live stream of February the 10th. And I will see if I can find all the information that you guys would like to have. So yeah, that's going to be February the 10th. That will be a themed live stream. And coming Friday, we will have my normal regular live stream. I have to say that I am thinking about changing the time and day of the live streams, because I have noticed that at the end of the week I am really tired, and I have more often headaches now, which is not a good sign. I am aware of that. And it's not so much stress as it is a long COVID that is playing tricks with my body. So I need to keep that in mind. So my final live stream of this month is next week, if I'm correct. Let me check that. Yeah, that is next week on the 26th. Let me check if that is also already. I think I planned it already, if I'm correct. If I'm correct, you guys should see that in my channel overview. Let's see. Yeah, it's already planned indeed. Next Friday at 3 p.m. And then after that, I think I will change to either the Saturday or the Sunday. I'm going to have to think about that. It might be the Saturday instead of the Sunday, because then I can just go on for longer if I want to, without having to work the next day, and perhaps it will work better for me. So I'm considering that. I will let you guys know. So I haven't completely made up my mind yet, but it is something that I have in mind. February the 10th is on a Saturday, so that will coincide. That would coincide nicely with a change of plans. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm not quite sure, but I will let you guys know what I will do with it. Because I want to make sure that I can actually do the live streams as I have scheduled them, and I'm finding it now. The last month or so, I've been postponing live streams more often than not, and I feel that it is good to have a set day and time for the live streams, and to be able to stick to that schedule. And with live streaming on a Friday, I feel that at this moment, the way things are going right now for me, I can't always stick to that schedule, and I hate to keep postponing live streams because I'm physically not doing well enough. Because I think that's not fair to you guys either. So I will let you know. I will let you guys know about that. I will make my decision about that in the coming days, and then I will plan my live streams for February and March. So they're probably going to move, not by much, but I am leaning towards moving to the Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. I'll see about that, and see how that goes. See if that will work for me and for you guys. So let me know in the comments if that is also a better time for you. Saturday 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Central European time, Amsterdam time. And let me know how your story is going, how your project is going. I'd love to hear about that, and I would love to hear about your author journey, how things are going for you, what you have in mind for this year. For me personally, I will I have planned to write my outline for my entire series. Well, I am inclined to say write the first draft, my draft 0 for the entire series, but I don't know if I'll be able to make that. So at least write a decent amount in my draft 0 for the entire series. I'll have to see how far I can get. I'll also have to see how many chapters I will have. I will have at least planned in my outline. because that's also going to be interesting. Because in for my previous versions, I had made an outline, and then based on my writing, I needed to extend my outline and I needed to insert chapters at certain points. So even my outlines will change. So yeah, that's how my mind works. That's how my brains work. I don't know why, but it works like that. And apparently, it works for me because I can keep on writing normally. I can normally keep on writing that way, I should say. So yeah, my plan is to write my outline, to write a decent amount in my draft zero for this series, and that's about it. It would be awesome if I managed to write the entire series this year, but I have no idea if I will be able to manage that. I'm not going to declare here that I will be able to do that, because given my physical circumstances, I might not be able to write for days or a week or whatever, just because I'm way too tired from my job. So it is a challenge in itself already. Um, so yeah, those are my plans for the coming, let's say, months. I'll see how things go. Um, so yeah, let me know in the comments what you are working on right now and what you are planning to do for the rest of this year. How I can help you with your writing questions, how I can help you on your author journey, and let's make this a wonderful year. Have fun, and I wish you all, and I hope for you all that your stories really flow and that your characters will cooperate, and that it will become a wonderful story uh, for years to come.